This watch costs $23,000. This watch costs $31 million. They are made by the same company. The factory is the same factory. The hands are the same hands. The materials in some cases are not very different at all. And yet, the price difference between them is more than 1,300 times. This is the story of how a Swiss watch brand turns the same general object into 7 completely different things, and how each one of them, despite the absurdity of the price tag, has a buyer waiting for it. This is the 7 levels of Patek Philippe, from the cheapest watch they currently make to the most expensive watch ever sold at auction. Level 1. The Aquanaut Luce, reference 5267200A, $23,000 retail. This is the cheapest Patek Philippe watch in production today. It is, by Patek's own classification, a women's sport watch. The case is 35.6 millimeters of stainless steel. The bezel is set with 48 diamonds, totaling about 1¼ carats. The dial carries the embossed checkerboard pattern that defines the Aquanaut family. The strap is a textured composite rubber. The interesting detail for collectors is the movement. It is a quartz movement. Patek Philippe, the brand most associated with mechanical watchmaking in the world, sells you a battery-powered watch as the entry point to the brand. The movement is called Caliber E23. It has a 3-year battery life. The reason this exists is straightforward. Patek wants a watch that costs about $23,000 in their catalog. Mechanical movements at this size and finish would cost more to produce. The decision is, in business terms, rational. In collecting terms, it is the watch that makes most enthusiasts wince. The Patek that does not have a Patek movement. Level 2. The Calatrava reference 6119. Around $35,000 retail. This is the cheapest Patek Philippe with a mechanical movement. It is the Calatrava, the simplest, most traditional dress watch the brand makes. Round case, 39 millimeters of white gold, a clean dial with applied gold hour markers, a leather strap. Inside is caliber 30255 PS, a hand wound movement with a 65-hour power reserve and the brand's signature finishing. The Calatrava has been in continuous production since 1932. The design has barely changed. This is, in many ways, the most authentic Patek you can buy. It has no celebrity association, no waiting list, no auction house drama, no bezel diamonds. It is what Patek Philippe was for the first 90 years of its existence. A simple gold dress watch, hand wound, made to be passed to your son. Almost no one talks about the Calatrava online. This is the watch nobody wants in 2026. It is also the watch the Stern family, the owners of Patek, are widely understood to consider the soul of the company. The current Patek president, Thierry Stern, has said publicly that the Calatrava is the watch he would keep if he could keep only one. Level 3. The Aquanaut reference 5167A. $46,720 retail. Now we are in the level most casual buyers think of as the entry point to Patek Philippe, the men's stainless steel Aquanaut, 40mm case, the textured embossed dial, the composite rubber strap, caliber 26 330 SC inside, an automatic mechanical movement. If you walk into a Patek authorized dealer today and ask for a 5167A, they will smile politely. $46,000 is the catalog price. The actual price you will pay, if you can find one for sale, is somewhere between $90,000 and $130,000 on the secondary market. The wait list at official dealers is functionally closed. Patek does not allocate steel Aquanauts to customers who walk in. They allocate them to clients who have already purchased Pateks before, usually multiple, usually for years. Level 4. The Nautilus reference 58111G. The retail price is $89,767. This is the watch every Patek conversation in the world is about. It is the replacement for the legendary Nautilus 5711, which the brand discontinued in 2021. White gold case, 41mm, integrated bracelet, blue sunburst dial, the porthole shape designed by Gerald Genta in 1976. On the open market, the actual price runs between $150,000 and $170,000. The discontinued steel 5711 trades at over $200,000. The 5711 with the Tiffany blue dial sold at auction for $6.5 million. Level 5. Complications. The reference 5905. Roughly $75,000 to $100,000 retail, depending on the metal. This is where Patek shows its hand. The 5905 is a self-winding flyback chronograph with an annual calendar. The dial carries 3 subdials. The complications are layered, the movement is in-house, and the watch is offered in steel, white gold, rose gold, and platinum. The annual calendar mechanism, which Patek developed and patented in 1996, only requires manual adjustment once a year. Most calendar watches require monthly adjustment. The complication is, in horological terms, elegant. It is also expensive to manufacture. This watch is not a sports watch and not a dress watch. It is a watchmaker's watch. The buyer is, in most cases, someone who already owns several Pateks and is now buying one for the mechanism. Level 6. Grand complications. The reference 5970. Around $200,000 retail, and on the secondary market often $300,000 to $500,000. This is one of the most respected references the brand has ever produced. A perpetual calendar chronograph in a 40mm case. The perpetual calendar mechanism inside is so accurate it accounts for leap years automatically and only requires adjustment once every century. The watch was produced for just 7 years, from 2004 to 2011. It is the last Patek perpetual calendar chronograph to use the legendary Lemania-based caliber. This is the level where Patek Philippe stops making watches for collectors and starts making watches for legacy. The buyer of a 5970 is, almost without exception, someone planning to leave it to a child or grandchild. Level 7. The Grandmaster Chime, reference 6300A. In November 2019, at a charity auction called Only Watch in Geneva, this watch sold for $31.19 million. It is, to this day, the most expensive watch ever sold. The Grandmaster Chime is a watch with 20 complications. It has a minute repeater, a perpetual calendar, a second time zone, an alarm, and a chime function that plays the date and the time on demand. The case is double-sided. There are 2 complete dials. The piece took Patek Philippe 7 years to develop. The reason the auction example sold for so much is straightforward. There were 6 Grandmaster Chimes ever made in this configuration. 5 of them are in private collections, never to be sold publicly. The 6th was made specifically for the Only Watch auction, in stainless steel rather than the typical gold or platinum. Steel on a Grandmaster Chime made the watch one of one. The buyer remains anonymous. The retail price for a non-auction Grandmaster Chime in white gold is approximately $2.5 million. The auction example sold for more than 12 times that. These are the 7 levels of Patek Philippe. What is striking when you put them next to each other is how little the brand changes between the lowest and the highest. The dial finishing, the case construction, the attention to detail are all recognizably Patek across every watch in the catalog. The Calatrava at $35,000 and the Grandmaster Chime at $31 million are made by the same family of craftsmen, in the same building in Geneva, often using techniques that have not changed in 70 years. The price difference is not mostly about the watches. It is about scarcity. It is about complication. And most importantly, it is about the sequence in which the buyer chose to enter the brand. The Aquanaut Luce, at $23,000, is a watch a normal high earner can walk in and buy. The Grandmaster Chime, at $31 million, is a watch you have to be invited to consider. The brand allocates them. There is no public list of who bought the most expensive Pateks. There is no announcement when one is sold. The transactions happen privately, between the brand and a buyer who has, in most cases, owned at least several other Patek Philippes already. The pyramid is steep, and the people on the top of it know exactly what they are paying for. It is not, strictly speaking, the watch. It is the position the watch represents inside the world of one of the only brands left where the rich actually have to compete with each other to spend their money. The cheapest Patek you can buy is $23,000. The most expensive ever sold was $31 million. Both watches will tell you what time it is, with the same accuracy, more or less. What separates them is everything that has nothing to do with telling time at all.